Welcome back everyone, it's Charlie. Huge news, Sony and Marvel just announced a brand new Spider-Woman spin-off of Venom 2 and Spider Man 3. That's right, we're finally getting a female Spider-Person. They also just named a director for their Spider-Man Kraven solo movie too, so I'll explain what's going on with both of those. We know a little bit about those movies, some of the Easter eggs, and where it fits into the continuity with the live-action Spider-Verse stuff that's going on because of all the Tom Holland Venom crossover stuff that's coming. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We'll do a new Amazon giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and let me know what you want them to do with Spider-Woman inside the larger Spider-Verse. I'll start with the Spider-Woman stuff first, then I'll talk about Kraven at the end of the video. I'll number these as we go along just to stay organized and talk about Easter eggs, but everyone cue up the explainer. Let's do this one last time. Starting with number 5, if you didn't see the news, Marvel and Sony, like I said, just announced that Olivia Wilde, the actress, will be directing their new secret Spider-Man Venom 2 spin-off movie. Sony and Marvel did not reveal what the official title would be, only that it would be a Marvel movie originating from Sony inside the Marvel universe. But all the legit trade publications and sites that were reporting the news like Deadline, Variety, Hollywood Reporter, the big sites, said that the movie was going to be Spider-Woman, so it's a pretty safe bet that that's what's going on. Then right after the announcement was made, Olivia Wilde herself tweeted this spider emoji just confirming the news, like yes, this is going to be a big Spider-Man Venom 2 spinoff. Olivia Wilde, most of you will know from somewhere in the past 10 years, she's done a bunch of stuff. She was in Tron Legacy, she was on House for a long time, she's been in a billion movies, but the past several years, she's also been directing her own movies, mostly smaller indie movies, but she's been getting a lot of hype, so this is a big upgrade for her. And I think she's a great pick. I think she'll be a good fit for the movie. They already hired a writing team to do the story, and we know it's going to come out sometime between 2022 and 2023, sometime in the next 3 years. But number 4, which version of Spider-Woman is this going to be? Because there are several versions of Spider-Woman in the comics. How much will she cross over with the Venom movies and Tom Holland's Spider-Man from the MCU? And I know you're all asking now, the next question, will we see Easter eggs for Spider-Woman in any of the upcoming Sony Marvel Spider-Man movies like the Morbius movie, Venom 2, or Spider-Man 3 over in the MCU? And where will her Earth be set? Will it be on Venom's Earth? Is it going to be on the MCU Earth? Or is it going to be in some other universe of the Spider-Verse if we're getting into multiverse territory during Marvel Phase 4 and all the Sony Venom movies? Most of the journalists that were talking about the movie this morning were using Jessica Drew artwork because she's the main version of Spider-Woman from the comics. When someone says the name Spider-Woman, usually you think of her first because she's the original version of the character. But there have been a bunch of women to have used the Spider-Woman name. Talking about the Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse of it all, you probably remember during the animated Spider-Verse movie, Gwen Stacy called herself Spider-Woman.
Let's start at the beginning one last time. My name is Gwen Stacy. I was bitten by a radioactive spider. And for the last 2 years, I've been the one and only Spider-Woman.
Mostly in the comics, though, fans think of her as Spider-Gwen, and then they try to change her name in the comics to Ghost Spider during Spider-Geddon. Last year, Sony revealed that they were developing full-blown spin-off movies for some of the animated Spider-Verse characters like Spider-Gwen. This live-action Spider-Woman movie could be what they were referring to at the time. Number 3, talking about actresses, they haven't said exactly who they're looking at first, but I would be willing to bet they're looking for someone younger who's closer to Tom Holland, Peter Parker age. And because of the blip in Avengers Endgame timeline, he's about 18 during the events of Spider-Man 3. They could always go for a slightly older actress, but Haley Steinfeld I think is a great example, would be a solid fit if they go younger. She played the animated Spider-Gwen in the Spider-Verse movie. You probably saw all the promos. She actually did a fantastic job. Just an option out there in the sense that everything is connected, because they also did talk about crossing over the live-action Spider-Man movies with the animated Spider-Man movies. There was supposed to be a scene with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and Tobey Maguire's in the animated Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie, but Sony apparently put the kibosh on that because they felt like it was too soon to get that meta with the movies. So maybe we see something like that during Spider-Verse 2. It would just be hilarious if Haley Steinfeld played both the animated version and the live-action version as if it were the same version of that Spider-Person. If they want to go with Jessica Drew, though, she's a British character, so they'd probably cast a British actress. Someone like Daisy Ridley would probably be who they go for first, but let me know in the comments who you want to play Spider-Woman and which version of Spider-Woman do you want. Just to make another Spider-Verse multiverse joke, Tatiana Maslany was great at playing a bunch of different British versions of herself, so she'd also be a pretty solid Jessica Drew if they want to go a little bit older. Number 2, how is this connected to Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the Venom movies? So they're crossing over Tom Holland with Tom Hardy's Venom. Technically, that means MCU Spider-Man is canon to the Spider-Verse or the Venomverse, however you want to think about it, Sony's universe of Spider-Man movies. It's a little complicated because the Marvel movies and Kevin Feige don't seem like they want to acknowledge a lot of what's going on in Sony's movies. But because of all the Michael Keaton Sinister Six Easter eggs, technically MCU is now tangentially connected to the Venom movies. The whole point in doing that is to eventually work up from Spider-Man vs. Venom to a live-action Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie in Sinister Six. Amy Pascal was hyping up their Sinister Six plans, but she was also saying that Sony was planning on doing live-action Spider-Verse at some point. That would be like Sony's version of Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. They would have to take a little bit longer to build up to something that big. So because Sony is the one releasing this Spider-Woman movie, it's more likely that she's going to be set on Venom's Earth and she'll be closer to the Venom movie plot, like Venom 2. Right now, there's rumors about the Morbius movie, another Venom spinoff. They say that during that, they're starting to set up the idea of Oscorp inside the Sony Spider-Man movies, and eventually they can start tying together all the different Spider-Man Venom spin-offs with some shared story elements through Norman Osborn and Oscorp. It's not a new idea. That probably sounds familiar because that's exactly what they tried to do in Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man movies, or at least a version of that, but they went way too fast trying to get to that big Sinister Six crossover. This time, it just seems like Sony and Marvel are taking their time with the Easter eggs going way slower, which I think is the smarter route. But number 1, talking about live-action Spider-Verse and the new backstories for the characters in the universe. The original Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman's origin story, is actually connected to the High Evolutionary, if you can believe it. There's actually some Easter eggs for him in the Marvel Phase 3 movies, particularly Guardians of the Galaxy, and there's been rumors that they might try to use him as a Marvel Phase 4 villain or Marvel Phase 5, like Guardians of the Galaxy 3. He might be the person who helped create Rocket. But in the comics, the original version of Jessica Drew suffers radiation poisoning and her father experiments on her with Spider's blood to try and save her. They retconned that later in the comics and then just said that she was bombarded with DNA from a bunch of spiders while she was in her mother's womb, and that's what gave her her powers. Spider-Gwen's backstory is a lot closer to classic Peter Parker's origin story. She was just bit by a radioactive spider, but on her Earth of the multiverse, the Spider-Verse, her version of Peter Parker actually became a version of the Lizard, and they did that whole backstory on the animated Spider-Verse movie. That was what she was referring to when she was talking about losing her friend and this past trauma, is that her version of Peter Parker was her friend and he wound up dying. She wasn't able to save him. That's why she was afraid to make new friends. But if she winds up showing up in someone else's movie first, like cameo scene like Spider-Man in Civil War, then going on to his solo movie, it would probably be one of the Sony Venom spin-offs first, like a post-credit scene or references to Gwen Stacy. The movie's still 2 to 3 years away from coming out though, so don't expect to see her for a long time. In terms of the Kraven movie stuff, it's still very early stages. We probably won't see that movie for a couple years, but I've already done a bunch of Spider-Man 3 videos about how it seems like they're going to introduce Kraven during that movie as a new Sinister Six villain. And then thinking even bigger, the live-action Spider-Verse movies. So that's what I mean when I say that Sony is working up to their own version of Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Giant, big, multiverse-spanning crossover story. That's their live-action Spider-Verse. And just in terms of Tom Holland crossing over in the other movies, Sony has been talking about putting Spider-Man in some of their other spin-off movies besides the Venom movies. But no idea how they would accomplish that, if he would just be in the background like you have in the Morbius trailer with the Spider-Man costume, or if he'd be Tom Holland, or if it'd just be an actor in a Spider-Man costume pretending to be Tom Holland's Peter Parker. There's a lot of ways you can put a Spider-Man in a movie without it having to be Tom Holland's Spider-Man. But everyone, let me know in the comments, what are you most hyped up about? Of course, I'll do more videos about all these Spider-Man, Spider-Verse movies when we get more details. They'll be shooting Spider-Man 3 really soon, and we'll probably get that first big Venom 2 trailer later this year. Everyone, click here for my video on the Spider-Man 3 movie title, and click here for that big trailer for DC Fandom this weekend and all the other big DC movie trailers. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe. I'll see you guys tonight.